What is the absolute bare minimum? What is the blank or failure, right? Do this or the angry mob is going to come for you, right? Do this or somebody's going to have to pay. Somebody's going to have to answer. Somebody's going to have to accept the blame. Blank or failure for each of the three teams in the ACC right here in the triangle. Dennis, which would you like to hear first?
Let's go with NC State.
NC State. This is less tangible. Here's where I have NC State blank or failure. More wins than UNC.
Oh, okay.
Because there's the rivalry, right? And
sure.
and Dave Doran has never shied away from it, right? He's never acted as if that game doesn't, just another game. No, like after those games, Salty Dave pops up. He says some things. So like that rivalry is acknowledged, but more importantly, Dave Doran has been building his program his way, learning lessons, right? Making mistakes and saying, I've learned from them, and the next year I'm going to be better. And bringing in guys that he feels are right for the program for over a decade, like well over a decade. So if you have all of that you have all of that head start, and then Belichick rolls in, scrambles together a team, 41 players, 40-plus players out of the transfer portal, 30-something freshmen, new coaches, not a ton of college football coaching experience, figuring it out as he goes. And if he puts together a team and immediately outperforms what you've spent over a decade kind of building, I think that's one of those things that is going to be like, whoa, right? Because what you preach patience, right? If you have a season that doesn't go the way you want, you say, yeah, but we're building something here. Yeah, but we're, this year didn't go the way we want, but we have reason to believe the future is going to be brighter. If somebody shows up and in 6 months not only catches up but passes, can you really spin the future line? Can you really say like, yeah, but it just takes time to build something like this? And it's like it didn't for them. So I think it is very important without, making it true, keeping your blinders on, right? You're not watching the other horse the entire race. I do think for quite a few supporters and fans of and maybe even administrators for State, it's like, well, you better be above the guy that just showed up, regardless of his resume. You want Duke or UNC next? Or do you agree or disagree? Might be a better way to
I think it's an interesting way of viewing it, if having more wins than Carolina, because like you said, there's the hype train with Bill Belichick. You can sit there and point down the road. It's like, yeah, well, we did better than him. I mean,
exactly.
that's a big thing. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Let's go. Since you mentioned North Carolina, okay, what's the bare minimum for Carolina?
I think you get inherently a longer leash your first year. I'm putting bowl eligibility.
Really, just 6-6.
6-6, and I like this is by the way, like a credit, right, to the UNC fans that I've spoken with, that we've interacted with here on the show. I don't know if pleasantly surprised is the right way, but surprised for sure by the realistic response to expectations for UNC. I assumed, and maybe it's because like, the few teams that I'm like a true fan, like I'm a Mets fan, right? Like I know you get your imagination to run away with you when cool things happen, right? When the Mets got a new owner and they spent a boatload of money, even though I had, years and years and years of Mets fandom just beating me down, as soon as like that cool thing happened and we had high-priced players, I'm like, oh, they were great. We're going to win this. We're going to win that. Hasn't exactly happened. But I was there. So I kind of expected the same when Belichick took the UNC job, that UNC fans would forget about all of the things that had held back Mac Brown or all of the things that hasn't worked out for coaches in the past and just go, but Bill Belichick's here. 10 wins or bust. And there has been some of that, but not nearly as much as I would have expected. I've gotten more, we did a feedback frenzy yesterday. There was a lot of this. More like, not this year, next year is where we let our imaginations run wild. This year, we understand it's a team thrown together, so many new players. The coaches are going to have to figure out the college game. There's a learning curve here. So I don't think anybody would be happy with 6 wins, but or bowl eligibility, so 6 or 7 wins, right, if you win the bowl. I don't think anybody would be happy with that for UNC, but I think what that would really do is just ramp up the pressure for the next year, right? If you're not a bowl eligible team, then I think people are going to start. You're going to be the laughing stock. There's going to be jokes at your expense. There will be people saying that the game has passed so and so by, and all of that. But as long as you get to a bowl, I think the fans will just say, "All right, there's your one." Right? Like it was just barely good enough. Next year, big jump. No more excuses. We gave you one.
And it might take UNC a few weeks to really figure it out. Like all these new guys, new coaching staff, it's just you really don't know what they have.
And if you want to get really intangible with it, you like 6 wins or bowl eligibility and a noticeable difference between game 1 and game 12.
Yeah.
Like you need to show that everybody is clicking and everybody is figuring it out, which I would expect will happen. Like I think UNC will be a much better team at the end of the year than the beginning of the year. If that's happening, that goes a long way towards making a 6 in the win column feel better when it's like, well, we started 1-4, right? And then I don't know, don't have their schedule in front of me. I don't know if 1-4 is realistic. But if you go like 1-3 in your first 4 true challenges, your first 4 tough games, but you still win 6 games and go to a bowl, that's a different beast than if you started 5-0 and finished 6-6, right? So if there's context on all of these, if you really look into it. And finally, Duke. I struggled with this one, right? Because we played the audio for you yesterday. Justin Pickett, one of their offensive linemen, said the new bar is 9 wins. They want to go play in the CFP. His words, not mine. That's aggressive. They obviously have made a financial commitment to football in a big way with some of the NIL reports that we've heard. But I still settled on 7 wins. 7 wins, which I guess feels low, but here's my justification. Year 1 of Mike Elko. What did Duke win? 9 games.
Yeah.
And everybody got really, really excited, right? Elko was turning it around. The young quarterback was there, and Riley Leonard. They had all this excitement. Year 2, what did they have? 8 wins. And everybody was still furious when Mike Elko left because they believed in what he was building. 9 wins, 8 wins, and everybody, like there was nobody hopping out of the bandwagon, right? Everybody was all in. They were mad with how it played out with Mike Elko, and everybody was still believing. So what happens in year 1 of Manny Diaz? 9 wins. Obviously, 8 wins wouldn't be an issue because everybody was still all the way in with Mike Elko with 8 wins in year 2.
And that's also Riley Leonard got hurt during that year 2 as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be context on all of it, right?
Yeah.
If they lost a bunch of 30-point leads and they gave them up, it'd be a different beast. But like if 8 is definitely okay, 7 is probably okay too. Right, because it's not. Maybe 8 is definitely okay, and 7 is just okay. 6 feels like that would be very disappointing. 6 would be, at the very least, you're considering like shaking up your coordinators. All right, you're hitting the portal heavy the next year. Like 6 feels like a real bummer, but I think 7 is kind of just we knew we were going to have to deal with some changes, and we don't consider this a step back. So I think Duke is 7 wins is your, like, don't panic, don't call for jobs if you win 7 or more at Duke. UNC, 6. State, 1 more than UNC. And I think that, like, again, you're not happy about any of those. Those are the bare minimum, right? That is, nothing exciting at all. I was walking into a hotel room and you've got a bed. It's like, well, all right, no TV, right? The air conditioner's loud, but hey, I got a bed, so I'm good. I'll stay here. I'll be tired enough. I'm fine. That I'm not excited. I'm not telling anybody about it. I'm not raving and being excited. It's just the bare minimum. Anything lower than that, disaster.
So let's get back to, you mentioned with NC State having more wins than Carolina should be their bare minimum. And you said 6-6, like bowl eligibility essentially for UNC. Let's say that's the case. Let's say North Carolina, they're 6-6, they're bowl eligible, and State finishes with 7-5.
I
think that's more than what North Carolina did, but I'm sure State fans would not be happy with that at all.
Wouldn't be happy with it at all, but I think then you can say, like, see, it's hard. It's not easy to, like, we are building something here, and again, then it becomes down to context. I thought about this, right, just to take you through my entire thought process. I thought about throwing, for NC State, 7 wins if they beat UNC and ECU, or like 9 wins if they lose one of those as theirs. But then I ended up pivoting back to more than UNC.
The reason why I push on that is the fact that you say, okay, NC State can say we're building on something, but Dave Doran's been there since 2013. Bill Belichick just got here in November.
100%.
So, I mean, that's you have to look at it on both sides of that regard. It's like, well, the guy that just came in down the road, you're still only one game better than him. And who's to say that he doesn't get the machine rolling as he figures it out? Like I said, Dorn's been there since 2013. I don't think State fans are going to settle for just being 7-5 if Carolina goes 6-6.
I mean, if it's an ugly 7-5, I hear you. I can't give every specific context, but also, they were 6-7 last year. It would be an improvement. Winning 7 games would be a step in the right direction, technically. There's also a world where, and I completely would understand this, if there's a State fan out there that says if State doesn't win 10 games this year, they want to move on from Dave Doran because it's been, like I said, well over a decade and they've never crossed that plateau to get to double-digit wins. Like, I understand that. I just don't see it being like stage 5, sound the alarms, all hands on deck panic, as long as they're staying one ahead of their rival. But I wouldn't, if a fan is out there that is a bit more passionate, a bit more up in arms than I think that's completely fair as well.